Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. Welcome to another half hour of Rural Heritage on RFD TV. Last week we visited Wayne and Holmes counties in Ohio, finishing our tour at Lehman's in Kidron. There's too much in this store to fit into just one show, so we're going to spend some more time this week at Lehman's. We'll look at some of the homemade foods they offer, as well as their toy department, which emphasizes imagination and creativity. Finally, we'll talk with Karen Geiser on hand with her son Obi, who was demonstrating a few Lehman's products in the store. Finishing up this half hour is Stacy Lyn Harris, who's back on Rural Heritage to demonstrate cast iron cooking and care. Don't go away, there's a lot to see.
I am in the room we call the Pantry Room, and I bet most of us wish we had a well-stocked pantry like this at home. Here in Amish country, there are so many wonderful local food vendors, people making noodles and potato chips and processing maple syrup and peanuts, and we just felt like we should be a good showcase for that. One of our favorite lines is our private labeled jams and jellies, including one called Bumbleberry. Now, do you know what Bumbleberry is? Back in the day, Grandma was making jams and jellies, and she'd have a little bit of blueberry, a little bit of raspberry, a little bit of strawberry, so she would bumble them all together so that she didn't waste anything. The flavor became so popular, it actually is now a mixture of those three flavors, and it's called Bumbleberry. There is no bumble tree or bush, I guarantee it. When people become concerned about traditional food sources or power outages, canned meat goes up dramatically. And so basically it's canned meat like you would can at home. So the chicken, the turkey, the pork, the beef, and then the broth, they're fantastic to have at home. For one thing, they last for a long time. We've had people buy cases of them. The other thing, they're just great to have around. I mean, if you've got the chicken and you throw in some, maybe some mayonnaise, hard-boiled eggs, a bit of relish, you've got chicken salad, throw in some broth with some egg noodles, and you've got beef and noodles. I often find myself reaching for a can of the meat just because it's handy and it's healthy. You know, and a lot of these too, like Holly's husband is gluten-free, so when we get gluten-free recipes in, we'll take them to Holly and she'll cook them for her husband. So we're not just, well, this looks okay. No, and her husband will say, you know, or thumbs up, and we don't always just use one person, but we try to use one person who mirrors the consumer that would be buying this product. This is our new exclusive line of handcrafted wooden and sewn toys. We have a network of about a dozen Amish craftspeople in our local area. It tends to be the men that are making the wooden furniture, the hickory rockers, the cradles, the bunk beds. This one is particularly interesting because the rocking chair and the cradle are attached, and so when she rocks herself, she rocks her baby doll. There is also a series of doll clothes, nightgowns, and hats, and a little girl's matching apron, all hand-sewn one at a time by Amish women. Some of them who need to make an income and really don't have a lot of other options, and so we're pleased to provide them with that. Many of them have been sewing for 40 or 50 years. They also make these adorable stuffed animals, and so it is called the Eli and Maddie collection. Eli, we picture a little Amish boy, and Maddie is his sister, and they spend their days having just plain fun. They are unpainted, they are handcrafted, they are USA made, they fit the 18-inch dolls. Most children's toys are imported plastic and high priced, and so these are the antithesis of that.
These provide a lot of opportunity for creative play.
Yeah, they do. Very creative play. And, you know, everything from the trains and the tractors and the animals to the high chairs, and they're things that would last for generations. So you can buy a cheap toy truck and it goes in the trash 2 weeks after Christmas, or you can buy the wooden train set and hand it down to your grandson 60 years from now. The Lehman's Toy Department, which is now very popular, actually started with an employee realizing Grandpa or Dad wanted to buy their child a tractor just like theirs. So we started with the John Deere toys. Well, then that led to, well, what can we have for girls? And then that led to puzzles and games and stuffed animals. What can we have for babies? And so now the Toy Room is a whole collection of primarily USA made, not all, but where we can, and guaranteed more than any of the big box stores where you shop. And they are imagination driven. You know what? No batteries included because no batteries required. They're interactive, they're community based. In other words, if you're going to jump rope, you likely want to have people to do it with. If you're going to fly a kite, if you're going to play a board game, and so it's play, in my humble opinion, the way play was supposed to be. This is an actual working phone booth from England. You can't take them out of the country anymore because it's a national heritage item. However, many years ago, Dad was in Europe, met a man who wanted to build a fish pond for his wife. He had neither the money nor the space because this was sitting where the fish pond wanted to go, so he traded Dad for it so he could put a fish pond in for his wife, and now it is a phone booth and a fantastic photo op.
Hi, I'm Joe Mishka of Rural Heritage Magazine. I'm on location of one of the many events we cover that celebrates our rural heritage. If you enjoy our show, check out our magazine, where you'll learn more about the people that blend the past with what works today. You can save almost 20% off the newsstand price by subscribing at ruralheritage.com or chat with us at 877-647-2452. That's toll-free, 877-647-2452. So Karen's here every Thursday. She teaches some of our classes. She is the real deal. Local organic gardener.
People have looked at my hands to make sure I'm not just. Yeah, they're there. Yeah, got them.
So, and churning butter is really engaging for people. How many people just like to kind of take a crank and then she explains what she's doing?
And it's the best conversation starter in the world because either what in the world are you doing, or oh, I remember Grandma, or oh, I've done so much of that I don't want to see it again, or just it really is yes.
We laugh about people getting their farm cred, and one way to get a touch of farm cred is to churn some butter.
Which you've probably already done.
Sure.
Okay, good.
With a wide variety of paddles, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
So yeah, I've heard all the stories from putting it on Grandpa's rocking chair to riding the bumpy road to town to our Amish neighbors have a washing machine. They have their washing machine, but then they have a washing machine that I've watched them pour a 5-gallon, 5-gallon can of cream into to churn butter. So yeah.
Where do you get the cream from? Local?
We have a couple Jersey cows, so I got it legally.
Oh, okay, all right.
Now I can't feed it. I can't feed it to you. It might kill you, but I'm going to take it home and feed my children.
All right, I understand. Jerseys make nice butter.
They do. They do.
These are sweet cows. I like jerseys a lot. What are some of the most common questions you get while you're doing this? You must get some pretty funny questions.
Yes. Are you churning ice cream?
Right.
No. People don't know where buttermilk came from. Well, or yeah, I'll end up with my butter and buttermilk, and they're like, oh, I never knew.
Right. Do people sometimes think buttermilk should be higher butterfat than lower butterfat?
Yeah. Well, are they just expecting buttermilk like what you get in the store, which really is often skim milk that's cultured. Right. They just have no, or they'll say, oh, you're not done yet. I'm like, oh yes, I am. they want it all to turn to butter. Yeah, so then I have to explain the fat comes together, and then the buttermilk skim and Blue John, and then I've learned songs, come butter come butter come. I mean, the stories it generates is absolutely hilarious. And then I met the butter king, or I don't know, he works for, I don't know, Land O'Lakes or somewhere, and he got the butter award for the year. I mean, it's really, really bizarre.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. But if I would just be sitting here, it's much more, or with stuff is much more intimidating, but when you're doing something, it invokes that curiosity factor, and then kids can churn. And then we're also been talking about, fidget spinners. Well, give a kid a butter churn. Right. But then one older man says, but their mothers would have no clue what to do with what was left over. Oh, and here's the other fidget spin. This is called the Lehman's. Can you do a big one? Yeah. So these are the heirloom seeds from Seed Savers Exchange. This is the Tennessee spinning gourds.
I was telling him how popular fermentation is, and
I don't have there might be a smaller
You're
one
a big advocate of fermentation and the good for your gut and the kombucha.
There might be one down.
Smaller ones work better.
Yeah. We've given away all of our smaller ones. one time he would for the fall festival he had 5 of them going at once, and Tim's he's 6. The president's son, is that what he is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his I don't know, 9 and 11-year-old sons were here, and they were just cheering like it was a football match.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. You know, it's the spinner match. He's looking for a smaller one.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Are they in there?
Yes.
Okay, grab them.
These are fun too. She calls them
yes.
mouse watermelons.
These are mouse melons, Mexican sour gherkins, and they're actually little cucumbers. But so I will tell some people, yeah, our watermelon crop just didn't make it this year. This gets a lot of questions when I have a pile of those. Ground cherries are another one that is fun to show people.
Yeah.
It is kind of a traditional food around here, ground cherry pie. But a lot of other areas that's just a new thing. So yeah, these are the Lehman style fidget spinners. Spinning boards. So the story is that school children in Tennessee would take them to school, hopefully to play during recess, not during school hours. So my Amish neighbor girls are school teachers. I sent a whole bucket of them, the gourds with them to school, and they said the boys were making up games and playing with them, and so that was really fun to.
Karen often has edible weeds.
Okay, she
Yeah, my
flowers.
weeds are looking a little scruffy this
And she also
time of
does
year.
flower decor. Sometimes her son puts them together
Yeah,
for
so
weddings,
actually my
for banquets.
13-year-old son grabbed this morning. So it's the scraps of the dahlia patch and
Oh, it's
yeah,
beautiful. Though.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
It really is.
but yeah, fermenting gets a lot of questions. So a lot of people are afraid of sauerkraut. Like, well, Grandma made it, but I don't remember how, or yeah. And so I really encourage starting small rather than just.
That's refrigerated. That's
So-
not canned fermented.
Right,
That's,
right. So
it's
right,
fresh
this
fermented.
yes. This is all going to be raw, so it'll have the probiotics and beneficial enzymes. So yeah, so we do a lot of sauerkraut. I do some kimchi at home. My kids love dill pickles. They'll just devour the dill pickles, and we're doing cauliflower and carrots right now. So yeah, during the winter, that's our kind of our raw salad. I'll put a spoonful in everyone's plate at supper. And if it's a really good batch, they'll dig in for more. If it's an okay so-so match, they'll just take what I give them.
Sure. That's,
yes.
That's part of the starter kits that Lehman sells, isn't it?
Yes, so this is the perfect pickler, and so this has 2 sets of the lids with the airlock, and then there's also 2 sets of the regular lids. Once this is done fermenting at room temperature, I'll put on a regular lid, put it in the refrigerator. And then you can just keep using this on more wide mouth half-gallon or quart jars. And they always want to know how I get it in the jar, so I've got my stomper here. But yeah, I also have examples of things that we've canned and things that we've dehydrated. Garlic planting is another thing people are really curious about. A lot of people don't know that you plant it in the fall, or they think I tried it in the spring, it never produced anything. And so yeah, hopefully we're going to go home and plant garlic today when we go home. He's got a garlic crop going. So.
How have you had? Has there been a good summer?
It has. It was a very dry August and September, but until then it was raining 1 inch a week.
Oh, just right.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yeah.
That's great.
But no, it was really dry August, September. So the pasture, we also raise grass-fed beef, and we just butchered chickens yesterday.
Okay.
So yeah, my hands are really real. So we were glad for rain to get the pastures going again.
Hey, I'm Stacy Lyn. Today I'm making Mexican venison and eggs.
Stacy Lyn, savor the good life.
If you don't have venison, you can use beef, you can use turkey, you can use really just about any ground meat for this recipe. Let's get started. Put a little bit more olive oil in your pan and get it hot. And I have some onions that are chopped. I'm going to go ahead and add the meat, okay? So I'm adding my ground beef first, and I like to just kind of break it up just a little bit and let it get cooked in there, and my venison. And you can see how dark and rich this venison is. It's got such a great flavor. But mixed with the beef, this is going to be an amazing dish, okay? I kind of like to put a little bit more venison in mine. So I'm going to brown that. And when that browns, I'm gonna add the rest of my ingredients. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I love my cast iron. There's just something about how it browns, how it makes food taste, how it smells, how it looks. I just love everything about cast iron. Lodge has been around since 1896. To stay in business that long, they must be doing something right. They have partnered with Lehman's, and I think Lehman sells every single product that they have for 4 decades. That's a really long time. I got this cast iron skillet from Lehman's, and it actually is a Lehman's brand Lodge cast ironware. These cast iron skillets are really built like a tank. They're gonna last you for a lifetime. I have my mom's cast iron skillets, and she has some of her mother's cast iron skillets. They just will not fail you. And even when they rust, you can bring them back to life. It's just really very simple, and you can find how to do that on my website at gameandgarden.com. I've got a big article just about that. The venison and beef are finally browned, and it's time to put in the secret ingredient here, which is cilantro. Now, a lot of people don't like cilantro, so if you're one of those people that has the gene that makes it taste like soap to you, then by all means don't use it. You can use parsley instead. But cilantro to me tastes like heaven, and so I use a lot of cilantro. And this dish is so good with it. It's just so delicious. The next thing that's gonna go in, chipotle. About 4 tablespoons of chipotle. So this is gonna be a little bit spicy. Okay, and you can get that anywhere. We make ours. It's not very hard to make, and again, I have recipes at gameandgarden.com that you can do for homemade chipotle. I'm gonna put in some chopped tomatoes, fresh from the garden this summer. Give that a stir. Then I'm gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. And I have exact measurements for this in my recipe, but I would really just kind of eyeball it and kind of know that if I'm using about a tablespoon of salt and about a teaspoon or so of pepper, I'm doing good. And this is gonna have a kick anyway with that chipotle, so I don't wanna add too much pepper. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the milk. I know, isn't that crazy? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna let that go for a little while. And this is gonna be something so fascinating. And the smell right now is just really fantastic. You'll wanna let this reduce just a bit, probably about 10 minutes or so. And the next part is the fun part. Okay, I'm gonna make little indentions where I want my eggs to go. I'm gonna crack one of my fresh eggs and put it straight down into the yummy liquid. So make an indention. And it's gonna kind of poach your egg. If you have a cast iron skillet with a lid, it's helpful to get the top done. This is super easy, super great. My kids are always asking me to make this. Okay. And however many people are in your family, you could do that many eggs. My whole thing would be full, so I'll leave it like it is now, and I'm gonna put the top on and just let those eggs get done. I know some people don't like tomatoes or acidic food in cast iron, but really once a cast iron skillet is seasoned, you shouldn't have any trouble at all with it. You just need to get the acidic food out of it as quickly as possible and get it washed and dried. And never use soap on your cast iron skillets after they're seasoned either, but make sure that you just clean it really well, dry it, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. Let's take a peek and see how the eggs are doing. Oh my goodness, they look so good. And I'm gonna place some of these awesome peppers all around this dish. So if you don't want a jalapeno pepper, you just, move yours to the side. I'm sure somebody in your family will want one or need to prove their manliness by eating the whole thing. I'm gonna get a little bit of cilantro, and again, if you're using parsley, you would just save a little bit back, and there you go. Awesome stuff right there. Okay, now you can serve this over hash browns. You can serve it over noodles. Yes, noodles in the morning. You can do it over egg noodles. And I have a piece of toast that I am serving this over. So I'm gonna use a slotted spoon. You don't have to do that, but I wanna make sure I get nice chunks of meat. I'm gonna put it right over my bread. Yum, yum, yum. And I think I'll try some of the heat, put a little bit of cilantro over it, and then I'm gonna get a fork and show you what this looks like as it runs down the plate. Look at that. Here is your Mexican venison eggs on toast. If you'd like the full recipe, go to gameandgarden.com. I'm Stacy Lyn. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Stacy Lyn.
Hey, I'm Stacy Lyn. Here's how to care for your cast iron skillets. Cast iron is one of the best things to cook in because it crusts your food just perfectly when you're browning, sauteing. It gets it just right. The flavors are amazing. It has even heat. It holds the heat completely, and you won't have hot spots, especially with well-made cast iron. Before we start, I just want to talk a little bit about Lodge. If you buy a Lodge cast iron skillet, you will have no trouble with seasoning because they already have them seasoned. I've been using this from the day I got it, and I never have had to season this, not even one time. I would like somebody to make a cast iron skillet for me like Lodge did for Lehman's. It's been 4 decades that they've had a relationship, and I guess they deserve a cast iron skillet. So I'm gonna show you exactly what to do to care for it. When you are cleaning it, and it will get kind of grimy when you're cooking inside of it, you will run warm water in it, but you don't need to ever put soap in your cast iron unless you're starting from scratch and you're about to season it. And I have that on my blog at gameandgarden.com if you're interested to know how to season a cast iron skillet. Lodge provides cast iron owners with a care package, and you can get that at Lehman's as well. I get all of mine from there. Run hot water around and just scrub the cast iron. You don't have to dig deep because these are really good and they'll get right down in there, okay? And if you still have grime, you can put a little bit of hot water and boil it on top of your stove, and you can then get a scraper that they also provide that will not mess up your cast iron, and you can scrape any stuck-on bits on your cast iron. And lastly, you'll get paper towels or a rag, your favorite rag, whatever you want to do. Dry it completely, because you don't want it to rust. And a few tips extra to keep your cast iron in good shape: cook fatty things in it from time to time. If it's not well seasoned, you might not want to do acidic food in it. Wait until it's got years and years of seasoning on it. And when you put it up and store it, put a fine coat of oil right over your cast iron. Okay, I'm gonna just get a little bit of it, blend it in just a little, okay? And that's gonna stay nice and rust-free for you. Also, if it has a lid, don't store it with the lid on top of it. If you take care of cast iron right, it will last for centuries. This is from the 1800s. It's smooth on the inside. I never have anything stick. This is one of my favorite pans. I fry cornbread in my cast iron. Searing steaks with a little bit of herb butter is amazing. I do hash browns, spinach, collards, turnips, all kinds of stuff. You can even do soups in cast iron. Anything goes with cast iron. I'm Stacy Lyn. Thanks so much for watching, and for more information, go to gameandgarden.com.
Stacy Lyn.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of Back to the Land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.